Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a summer tag video. I haven't done a tag in the longest time, but I thought it would be fun to do one. So this is the summer bucket list tag. As you all know, it is almost summer and I just started my summer vacation from school. So I thought it would be a fun tag to do, kind of going through some bucket list things I'd like to do over summer. I will definitely go ahead and put the link down in the description box for where I got this tag. But before we go ahead and get on into my answers to the prompts, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new bookish videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. Prompt number 1 is hit the beach. What is a book that you've read that's set by water? When I was trying to answer this prompt, I was trying to find a book that had like a beachy type vibe, like a summer beach type vibe, and I couldn't find one. So I'm going to go with Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb because the setting of this is Buckkeep Castle, and Buckkeep Castle is built on top of a cliff basically, and there is a beach down below, but it's kind of like rough waters and rocky beach. It's not like that nice sandy warm beach you're thinking of when you think about summer, but regardless, it's by water. And there are a lot of scenes in this book between Fitz, our main character, and Molly, the love interest, where they are on the beach and spending time together on the beach. And, you know, Fitz often sneaks out of the keep in order to see Molly. So that just reminded me of a book by the beach. Prompt 2 is watch Fireworks, a book that had a spicy romance. I'm going to have to go with Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a dark fantasy romance. It is a villain gets the girl type story. We have a dark, tortured soul in our main character, Hook, who is originally trying to use the love interest Wendy as a pawn in one of his devious games, but eventually he starts to fall for her. So there are a handful of good spicy scenes in this book. Some are long, some are super short, but if you're looking for that, I do recommend it. Prompt 3 is go for a road trip, a book that involves a journey. My answer is Sunland Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. In this book, we're following Thomas Sunland, who goes to the Tower of Babel with his new wife on their honeymoon, and she basically gets lost in the tower or kidnapped, we don't know. And Sunland spends the rest of the book and basically the rest of the series, there's four books in the series, trying to find his wife and save his wife. And the thing about the Tower of Babel is that it's massive. And there are several ringdoms that Sunland has to try and get through looking for his wife. So it's a journey to find someone he loves, going through this mysterious tower and experiencing all these strange things on these different ringdoms. I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. Highly recommend. Prompt 4 is Camp Under the Stars, a book that left you starstruck. I'm going to go with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I love this book. This is a book that tugged at my emotions so hard in so many different ways. It is a book about a girl named Addie who is cursed to live forever, yet no one will remember who she is. She can have experiences with someone, they turn around, look away from her, and when they turn back, they have no idea who she is. So Addie basically goes through this immortal life completely and utterly alone. And there's so many different themes in this book of, you know, leaving your legacy, you know, the importance of us being social beings and having other people in our life and what value that brings to that, as well as like your purpose in even existing. So there's a lot of deep, heavy themes in this book, and it was for me highly emotional and one that I think about often and should probably reread. Prompt 5 is Movie Marathon. What is a book that you couldn't put down? For me, that is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This book, oh my gosh, I loved it so much. So we are following a point of view from a psychiatrist, like a criminal psychiatrist, who gets interested in this woman's story. This woman was accused of shooting her husband, murdering her husband, and as soon as she did it, she never spoke another word. So she's in this psychiatric hospital and he is evaluating her. And then we also get this other point of view of Alicia, the woman, in this journal that she kept about things that were going on in her life up into her husband's murder. And as the book goes on and the plot goes on, we see how everything is connected. And just the twist at the end was, oh my gosh, it was so good. I was not expecting it. I remember gasping a little when I finally put two and two together. I was like, oh my God. I just felt like the way that the author crafted this plot was very well done. And I just wanted to know what happened. I couldn't figure out the mystery, the reason behind why Alicia was doing what she was doing. The author really established this book as who is the unreliable narrator, which was so good. So if you have not read The Silent Patient, another one I highly recommend. Prompt 6 is Go Out for Ice Cream, a book with a sweet romance. And I'm going to have to go with Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is such a dream-like book, and I'm not just saying that because it's got dream in the title, but we have two characters that come from, well, originally they come from different worlds, different experiences, and the majority of the book is about their romance with some of the plot thrown in. And Laini Taylor just writes very whimsically, and she brings this relationship or develops this relationship in almost this like fairy tale, like whimsical, fantastical, like atmosphere. And these two characters are just completely and utterly in love with one another. And I just think it's very unrealistic, but it is kind of like one of those books that gives you little butterflies in your stomach because it's something that we recognize as sweet and pure. The next prompt is Picnic at the Park, a book that is a breath of fresh air. And I think I'm going to go with Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I read this recently and I really enjoyed it. This was just so much fun. I love how Sanderson can create such complex worlds inside of a standalone book. He can create really good character arcs inside of a standalone book. And I just really loved how, I just love Tress. Like there was nothing like extremely violent or vulgar or depressing in this book. It was very optimistic and fun and upbeat. There were obstacles that our characters had to go over, and there were just so many magical elements and fairy tale like elements thrown into this book. I enjoyed it so much and it was definitely refreshing to read. Prompt 8 is Go for a Hike, a character who conquered an obstacle. I'm going to go with Isabel from An Alchemy of Masks and Mirrors. So first off, Isabel is the daughter of this duke, and he's not very nice to her because she was born with a deformed hand, and a lot of people look down on her because of her deformity. And also in this world, women are not expected to be, I want to say, as intelligent as men, or they're not educated on purpose. And Isabel is actually an extremely gifted mathematician, which is just not accepted in this world. So she actually publishes all of these papers and everything under a pseudonym, a male pseudonym. So Isabel just found ways to work around her current circumstances in order to prove that she was talented, she was gifted, and that her physical deformity had nothing to do with her ability to be a successful member of society. And there was just a lot of other things that happened in this book and series that show how strong of a character Isabel is. Prompt 9 is Grill Some Barbecue, a book that had really good food in it. This was really hard for me, so I think I've used this book for a similar answer before, but I'm going to go with the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McKellen, only because one of the gods in this book is a chef. And there are descriptions in this book of all of the food that he makes, like the soldiers, because he's making food mostly of sustenance for like this military, but like it's good food, like it's restaurant quality good food, and it's described. So I felt like this book fit that prompt. And the last prompt is Watch a Sunrise, a book that inspired you. And I chose Queen Esther's Reflection by Anna Platts. This is a book about Queen Esther. So if you don't know who Esther was, she was actually wife to Xerxes, who was an extremely powerful Persian ruler in the 4th century BC. And Esther was a Jewish woman. And not only that, but Xerxes was seen as so powerful that he was almost godlike. And it wasn't like you could just approach Xerxes and have a conversation with him, even his wife, because he was seen as just so powerful and almost as God that he was almost like untouchable. So it talks about how there was a plot to kill Esther's people, the Jewish people, and she had to find a way to convince Xerxes, her husband, and this powerful ruler to put a stop to this. And that just wasn't something you did. You didn't command Xerxes. You didn't ask things of him. So it just kind of goes through the story of how she handled that and how it was successful and how she stopped a potential mass murder of her people. And it was just a really interesting book because you have to look at it with different lenses on. This was, ancient times. Women were considered second class citizens. Jews were not looked highly upon. So it was just like a very good story of determination and faith. And I really enjoyed it. All right, you guys, that is it for the summer bucket list tag. Let me know in the comments what some of your responses to these prompts would be, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.